Hello, my name is Dr. Jennifer Lemoyne, and I am a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner. I have been involved in LANP health policy efforts over the past 5 years, and I know personally how difficult it is to reach out to your legislatures. But let me tell you a little bit about what's been working for me. First of all, don't give up. Am I tired? Am I disappointed? Well, the answer to all of those questions is not only yes, but hell yes. And I'm getting angry. And why am I angry? I'm angry with the excuses that we're hearing from our representatives for not being in support of Senate Bill 187, and all of these excuses are not based on best evidence. So this brief video outlines a little bit of what has been working for me when speaking to the legislators. First, research your legislature's background information before you contact him or her. You can find all of their information on legis.la.gov, or better yet, Google them or look at their Facebook page. Number two, know if they're a Republican or a Democrat and their religious affiliation. You may be able to work this into the conversation at some point. For example, like you, I'm a Catholic Republican, and I thank you for your past efforts involving issue XYZ. Number three, know what they do outside of the Capitol. Representatives only make $16,800 for each session, so they have to have other jobs outside of the legislature. For example, are they a business owner themselves? If so, then approach removal of the CPA from a business perspective. Many legislators are not familiar with the role of NPs who own their own clinics. They are mistakenly guided that clinics are owned by physicians and that all payments of malpractice insurance, staff, and equipment is made by physicians. They are shocked and surprised to learn the truth. Try to get them to relate what would happen in their business or their job if it's suddenly shut down based on one individual's decision to move away, they no longer desire to have that job, or, Lord forbid, they pass away. Number four, be familiar with bills they have authored and supported and appeal to their record. For example, I noticed you voted yes on the PT bill. The PT bill did expand scope of practice for physical therapists. However, that's not what Senate Bill 187 does for nurse practitioners. Then go ahead and lead into the facts regarding the bill itself. Or conversely, I noticed that you voted no on the PT bill. And I'm thinking that might have had something to do with an increased scope of practice issue. Let me tell you that Senate Bill 187 does not change scope of practice. Favorable passage of this bill would allow NPs to do the same thing tomorrow as they do today, only without the restrictive barriers such as the CPA. Number five, to combat any questions of safety, because this is a big one, use the facts that there are 22 states plus the District of Columbia that have already passed similar legislation. And the VA has just announced its support of a proposed rule allowing APRNs to practice to the fullest extent of their education and training across their facilities in the nation. Number six, remind them that first you are a registered nurse and that you must practice in the setting for a minimum of 2 years before applying to a master's program for nurse practitioner. So let's break this down for them. 1 year of full-time work equates to 2,080 hours. So essentially, you have 700 hours as an undergraduate nursing student, and for those 2 years, you have 4,150 work hours, practice hours. There's an additional 600 clinical hours in a master's program, and in some cases, if NPs go on to obtain their doctorate, there's an additional 500 residency hours at the doctorate level. So we're looking at a total of 5,935 hours for a doctorate prepared nurse practitioner and 5,435 hours for those nurse practitioners who are master's prepared. It's also very important to let your representatives know if you are a DNP prepared, doctorately prepared nurse practitioner. So number seven, because of all of the above concerns, let them know we're listening. We have heard you. So we are proposing an amendment that will add an additional 6,000 hours of experience for nurse practitioners to obtain full practice authority with the removal of the CPA. This brings the total number of hours of education and training to a minimum, and remember, a minimum of 11,435 hours. Number 8, there is already a shortage of primary care physicians in the state of Louisiana, and with the recent Medicaid expansion, LSU is considering the implementation of a fast-track primary care physician program that will limit MD education and training to 3 years. Remind them that as a BSN prepared nurse, that's 5 years of education, another 2 to 3 years for your master's, and an additional 2 to 3 years for a doctorately prepared nurse practitioner. And number 9 is my personal favorite. If they say that they cannot vote for us because of their personal relationship with a physician and or their physician has called them and asked them to vote no for Senate Bill 187, remind them that their decision to vote for any bill should not be based on a personal relationship, but should be based on the larger voice of their constituents. Remember who voted them into office and doing the right thing for those constituents. And I want to share lastly with you the most compelling story that I've heard at the Capitol over the last 5 years. And it occurred just 2 weeks ago when a mother tearfully testified in front of the representatives for the patient care bill. This mother implored these representatives to remember why they are here in the first place. And it is not for personal gain. It is not for political favors, but it is to do the best thing for the residents in the state of Louisiana. By voting yes for Senate Bill 187, this will increase access to care for all of the residents in the state of Louisiana, particularly those that are living in underserved areas. So in summary, please don't give up. Please continue to make those calls. Please reach out to your individual legislatures and make appointments to visit with them. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, and only as a unified voice will this change occur, making Louisiana a better place for its residents and modernizing healthcare with the removal of the CPA for nurse practitioners in our state. I want to thank you for your time and have a good evening.